So, Apple has a bunch of new emojis and stuff. Apple has, when you hold down the emoji, it gives you various different colors and whatnot. They actually have a vampire emoji, and when you hold it down, there are various shades, all the way from Dracula to straight up Blackula. But there are all these shades in between, and I was wondering what you thought about, what would you call that?
Jose Ferratu.
You were too quick on that. I'm a little...
Always come prepared.
It's Hugo and Jake, they're coming to take a look at the Quran. So make no mistake, it's gonna be great, delivering more than comedy, that's what they wanna be. But honestly, it's fact from fiction, leaving lasting hits. When Hugo and Jake take faith and illustrate contradictions, create apostates to be great. Atheists make people who believe see the world in a different way. What's on the episode today? Take it away, Hugo and Jake. Loving the way they're splitting the fact from the fake, attempting to make those who hold faith reevaluate and wake up. But they just stay stuck and haters wait and stay in place, no time to waste. The Quran reload with Hugo and Jake.
Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jose Ferratu.
And this is...
Blah! But with a tilde at the end.
This is the Quran Reloaded.
It is.
We're back to read more of the Quran. This time you can't see the microphone. It's like magic.
Whoa, and then pretty soon we'll have a camera that's not made out of Idaho potatoes.
So, today we're continuing in the 5th Surah, the table.
You gonna run?
And, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
No, I'm autistic, so when I run, it's like Naruto.
Fuck.
5th Surah, 5th Surah, verse 78.
Okay, but hold on. We need to redo that because now you need to say it like this, and then we'll dub over that. Wait, with your Naruto things.
5th Surah, chapter, verse 78.
Chapter, verse 78. We got it.
Cursed were those who disbelieved from among the children of Israel by the tongue of David and the Jesus son of Mary. That is because they rebelled and used to transgress. They used to not prevent one another from the wrongs they used to commit. Evil is what they used to do. You will see many of them befriending those who disbelieve. Terrible is what their souls prompt them to do. The wrath of God fell upon them, and in torment they will remain.
Don't be friends with people of other religions.
Yeah. This book says that a lot.
It's like brown KKK, which sounds like a contradiction, but it's not.
Had they believed in God and the prophet and what was revealed to them, they would not have befriended them, but many of them are immoral. You will find that the people most hostile towards the believers are the Jews and the polytheists, and you will find that the nearest in affection towards the believers are those who say, "We are Christians." That is because among them are priests and monks, and they are not arrogant.
Christians not arrogant during this time. This is a nice period of history that we ought to mark with a little flag.
There's good reason for this, and the reason being that the people around the Muslims were mostly Jews and polytheists. They didn't encounter Christians as often. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm saying that the people around them that they were in direct conflict with were mostly Jews and polytheists of various different religions.
The polytheists. Were they, I don't know. Was Baal still hanging around at that time? You still had some Baal? I gotta imagine you had mostly, during this time, probably had leftovers of Greco-Roman, although most of those would have been Christian by design at that point. But also the Africans, the African people that weren't Muslim would have definitely been polytheists that they had to deal with.
And when they hear what was revealed to the messenger, you see their eyes overflowing with tears as they recognize the truth in it. They say, "Our Lord, we have believed, so count us among the witnesses."
Imagine learning information from a book so severe that you tear up.
Charlotte's Web.
That one made you go? Leak a little bit?
Actually, this is true.
Oh god.
This is true. The John Green book,
Fault in
Our Stars.
That one almost got me. That's a good ass book.
Made me cry. Which is funny because The Fault in Our Stars. How do I put this?
Yeah, it's not the most emotionally challenging book until the end. You're like, oh, okay, that was well written.
The characters talk like really twee.
They talk like a Diablo Cody.
A little bit, yeah. And
movie.
they're like super
intellectual.
not faux intellectual. They're like pretentious teenagers, which is what they are. So it's fine.
To be fair, those two characters that you're speaking of have a lot of time. They have a lot of time to read.
I don't know. Whatever. John Green.
I like John Green.
I do.
Seems like a nice guy.
But as for those who disbelieve and deny our signs, these are the inmates of the fire. O you who believe, do not prohibit the good things God has permitted for you, and do not commit aggression. God does not love the aggressors. And eat of the lawful and good things God has provided for you, and be conscious of God, in whom you are believers. Wow, actual a mention of food once again in the 5th surah titled The Table.
It only took 89 to get there.
There's a little bit more coming.
Hey.
God does not hold you accountable for your unintended oaths, but he holds you accountable for your binding oaths. I know that sounds weird, apparently. According to, again, that Islamic source I read alongside this, they're saying that this is, if you were fooled by another religion, like Baal or a polytheistic religion, you took oaths for those, you are not binding to those oaths if you convert to Islam. God understands your mistake, your unintended oaths, and releases you from them as long as you commit yourself to the new oath for Allah.
I was going to say, we were in the clear until you added that last caveat.
Yeah. What do you mean? The atonement for it is by feeding 10 needy people from the average of what you feed your families, or by clothing them, or by freeing a slave. Anyone who lacks the means shall fast for 3 days. That is the atonement for breaking your oaths when you have sworn them. So keep your oaths, thus God makes clear his revelations to you, that you may be grateful.
So you have to feed 10 people the average of what you feed your family?
Yes.
Does that mean if I only have a family of 4, I feed them the average amount of food total and split it up amongst 10 people, or the average amount that each person normally gets?
I don't know. I don't know.
So are we just teasing homeless people with, like, scraps of food, like you get 1 olive?
I'd like to think that there were homeless people who were constantly trying to get people to break their oaths just so they could fucking eat. Eat the pork. Eat the fucking pork!
The pork?
Yeah, that's an oath.
Why would they have pork?
They're not supposed to... I don't know, though.
Where'd they even get it?
The homeless people...
The black market for pork is crazy!
Homeless people keep smuggling them into the city in the hopes that people will kill them and eat them so they can have something to eat.
That doesn't make any sense. Why not homeless people just eat the pork?
Well, they're very religious. They're not gonna let that happen. O you who believe, intoxicants, gambling, idolatry, and divinations are abominations of Satan's doing. Avoid them so that you may prosper. So, intoxicants, of course, this is the prohibition of alcohol. And again, that Islamic source that I read claims that Muhammad essentially started out being softer on alcohol and saying, like, it's not prohibited, but, like, try not to drink it. You shouldn't drink it if you want to be a good Muslim. But as time went on, it was finally revealed to him by God that no, it needs to be a prohibition.
That was probably Muhammad just said he had a problem that he needed to address and he needed an excuse so that no one would bring it around him. Everyone would be his accidental sponsor.
Well, I'm thinking what happened was obviously Muhammad was probably actually for whatever reason against alcohol. I get it. People definitely have problems with alcohol.
Yeah,
you know, it can be a destructive thing. So he was trying to say to people, hey, don't drink, hoping that would be enough, and then no one listened to him. He's like, you know, fuck it, God says no!
It's weird that intoxicants doesn't extend to stuff like hashish.
Well, that's the thing, it says intoxicants.
Right, that intoxicates you, but also, like, Al-Qaeda, for instance, who is extremely, I think we can all agree, extremely Muslim as fuck, right? But they made a lot of their money through the drug trade. They would sell opiates and stuff. So I
find it the least shocking that the religious, especially religious extremists, are the most hypocritical when it comes to their own rules. I'm really not shocked.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm just pointing it out.
Satan wants to provoke strife and hatred among you through intoxicants and gambling, and to prevent you from the remembrance of God and from prayer. Will you not desist? Now I'm thinking Muhammad was just fucking John Lithgow in Footloose. Just, my kid died in what happened in Footloose?
Did his kid die dancing?
His kids, I think one of his kids died on the way back from a concert. They were in a car. They were not dancing.
What if it was like a sit-down concert? John Lithgow does not have... He doesn't grieve well.
No.
I imagine real life John Lithgow isn't very good at bereavement either. He just goes into just fits of fucking unreasonable responses.
I'd like to believe that's true.
Yeah.
That's
what
why.
Dexter season 3 was about. 4? What was 3?
2 was Lila, 3 was he made friends with like the mayor's assistant or the DA or something. And Dexter has like 2 good seasons out of 6.
4 is the one. 4 is the best one.
1's good, 4 is good.
Yeah. Now we're talking about Dexter.
Oh god, we're so off topic today. Obey God and obey the messenger and be cautious. If you turn away, know that the duty of our messenger is clear communication. Those who believe and do righteous deeds will not be blamed for what they may have eaten, provided they obey and believe and do good deeds. Then maintain piety and faith. Then remain righteous and charitable. God loves the charitable.
I think that's true. God just loves the charitable.
I guess.
We gave to charity last year. When are we getting blessed, yo?
I mean,
when are we getting straight blessed?
We just bought houses.
Yeah, but I didn't get a house. I bought a house.
Yeah, but
now I'm beholden to a fucking mortgage.
This is our job, so.
Well, yeah, but that was our job before. Again, I'm just waiting for a blessing. I'm just waiting for one. Free Cheez-Its for life.
I've yet to cut you out of my life.
You can't now.
You are.
Because now you have a mortgage.
Borrowed. You're right. What a terrible decision. Oh, you who believe, God will test you with something of the gain your hands and spears obtain, that God may know who fears him at heart. Whoever commits aggression after that will have a painful punishment. Oh, you who believe... I just keep saying that. Yeah. Do not kill game while you are in pilgrim sanctity. Whoever of you kills any intentionally, its penalty shall be a domestic animal comparable to what he killed, as determined by 2 honest persons among you. Who determines who the honest people are? I don't know.
What if you're alone?
Oh, God. An offering delivered to the Kaaba, or he may atone by feeding the needy, or its equivalent in fasting, so that he may taste the consequences of his conduct. It pisses me off that they translated that to taste his... misconduct, which made me... That was definitely intentional, you fucking asshole. You telling me that was a pun in the original Arabic?
That would be
Fuck
amazing.
You.
Dude, if this was just the pun Quran, I think I could deal with it a little bit.
Maybe. But whoever repeats, God will take revenge on him. God is almighty avenger.
Don't blow your load.
Is that a bomb vest
It
joke?
is a bomb vest joke, yeah.
Permitted for you is the catch of the sea, its food as sustenance for you and for travelers. But forbidden is for you is the game of the land while you are in pilgrim sanctity and fear God to whom you are gathered.
Do they still have the shellfish thing?
They do have the shellfish thing, I think. But, oh wait, do they?
I don't know.
Oh,
They
God.
they do follow some of the tenets though, which is
On
like
the
pork.
On the screen, it'll say whether or not they can eat shellfish.
I don't know offhand.
I already forgot. But it's interesting to me that while they're on their pilgrimage to the Kaaba or wherever they're going on some sort of holy pilgrimage, not allowed to hunt land animals, only fish, which is very strange to me. I wonder why they determined that.
Maybe the only practical application I can see is that if a lot of them do it seasonally, which makes a lot of sense because it would be easier or harder to travel at certain times, you would overhunt an area.
But the thing is, extinction wasn't a thing that people knew was a thing until...
Not extinction, just you could overhunt an area, though. People knew about that.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Just, diminish the population.
I'm trying to think if it's a thing that they intentionally... Again, with a lot of these commandments and rules, I'm always going through a process of thinking, is this something they decided was a rule because they noticed cause and effect,
right,
and are just putting in and think it's
like
a
it had
rule by
utility.
God? Or are they just making shit up? I don't...
The only other explanation I can come up with that has any sort of basis behind it as far as, the pros and cons would be Muhammad or the Caliphate or whatever own, the restaurants in the area they're going to. And it's just a big racket to get the seasonal pilgrimage
I know that
soup prices.
I know that sounds insane, some of you are saying, but bear in mind, remember, part of not eating fish on, or not eating meat on Fridays for Catholics had to do with the fishing industry and subsidizing it. So, Don't think this is an totally out of the question.
That's kind of where I took that, like, because I know that the Catholic Church specifically has done stuff like this they did it for centuries, for a millennia. So,
God has appointed the Kaaba, the sacred house, a sanctuary for the people, and the sacred month, and the offerings and the garlanded, that you may know that God knows everything in the heavens and the earth, and that God is cognizant of all things. So, by saying, hey, the Kaaba, which again is that, it's at Mecca, it's the cube they're all walking around, it's proof he's God.
How does that add up? Where's the second part of that equation?
Cube.
It just goes 1 equals 1.
Look at how cool this cube is! Hundreds of years ago.
It's kind of cool, I guess. Although it's a cube built around a meteorite, right?
That's what people think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Isn't there
I don't think
a
they've
rock in there?
No one's tested it, though.
Fair enough.
No one would let that, Can you imagine, anyone going to whoever,
Taking a scraping off of it?
You mind if we take a scraping off your holy rock to prove that it's not anything but, a space rock?
2 billion scimitars get unsheathed at the same time. Some ceremonial gays get pushed off a roof.
Yeah. It really bums me out that you know what? I have enough hope in my being that I believe someday we'll definitively know that answer. I believe
not in our life.
Probably not. But I believe sometime in human history the Cabal will still exist but not be
important.
It'll be historically and culturally important in the same way.
Okay, but not like actively being used.
Yeah. And I'm hoping eventually someone will be like, hey, let's test, was this a space rock? And they'll be like, yes or no?
Probably. Probably a space rock. I'm pretty sure there's stories about it, but
there are stories about a lot of things. What does that mean? I don't know. Know that God is severe in retribution and that God is forgiving and merciful. The messenger's sole duty is to convey. God knows what you reveal and what you conceal. Say, the bad and the good are not equal, even though the abundance of the bad may impress you. So be conscious of God, O you who possess intelligence, that you may succeed. O you who believe, do not ask about things that would trouble you if disclosed to you. But if you were to ask about them while the Quran is being revealed, they will become obvious to you. God forgives that. God is forgiving and clement.
So you can't ask, why does God allow rape? Unless someone's reading the Quran to you. And then you can totally ask that question because it will be revealed to you if you listen long enough.
Well, their answer will be because they're not worth as much as men. We've gone over it in the second surah.
Yeah.
According to the Quran.
Correct.
A people before you asked about them, but then came to reject them. God did not institute the superstitions of Bahara, Sabah, Wizla, or Hami, but those who disbelieve fabricate lies about God. Most of them do not understand. And when it is said to them, come to what God has revealed, and to the messenger they say, sufficient for us is what we found our forefathers upon, even if their forefathers knew nothing and were not guided. It bums me out a lot that, for reasons of obviously Islam is the religion that continued and is still popular today.
Yeah.
We don't have as many resources. We don't have, the Baal Quran. You know what I mean? We don't have the contemporary account from the reverse side, which probably said very similar things. These new Muslims, they're blaspheming against, one of the gods I just mentioned.
The best you got is the Christian and Jewish accounts of these things.
And I know that there are at least secondary sources on this in various languages and stuff. But I'm not an archaeologist, so.
Yeah. Or an anthropologist.
No.
We're not ologists in anything. We're maybe dickologists. Is that a thing already? A dickologist? That's probably a thing. We did also have, though, proto-religious stuff from that area, so you can kind of piece it together from the start to where it's at. But yeah, the contemporary non-Abrahamic religions are pretty low-key.
Especially in later centuries. We're like, we should probably destroy this stuff, because it's heretical. Oh boy. Anyway, so that's it for this episode. Next week, I think we're going to do a reaction of some sort.
Yeah, so if you have anything you want us to react to that relates to Islam.
Yeah. So other than that, you can always follow us on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
You can follow Hugo at Hugo Reloaded. You can also subscribe to this channel because we're back in action.
Yep. And you can donate to the Patreon campaign if you want to help support the show. We do a once-a-month Patreon-only hangout. Last one was a lot of fun, as are all of them. So
Yeah. And also make sure to tune in every once in a while on TBR because we got obviously a ton of shit over there, but we also do live unboxings of fan mail. So if you'd like to send us fan mail, send it to the P.O. box on the screen because it's fun. We got stuff. What do we got over here? What do we got? We got, oh god, it all fell. We got this thing. We got this package. I'm not going to show you the address because that's, and it's addressed from domestic violence. So.
It really is.
It really truly is.
So, until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
Kron Reloaded.
I was out of scene. It's down here.
They can still hear you.
Jake.
It's fine.
They gotta know. They gotta know who it is.
No one cares.
So, that's probably true. Never mind. I was gonna say someone probably doesn't know.